baby boomers were the biggest generation, born between 1946 and 1964. Thanks to modern medicine, Americans are living longer, no longer dying from infectious diseases, but chronic diseases such as cancer, diabetes, and Alzheimer's, requiring long-term medical care. In 2034, the ratio of people 80 and older will increase 79%, while the number of caregivers will only increase by 1%. The age dependency ratio is the number of people in the workforce versus those receiving Social Security and retirement benefits. This information is used to measure the pressure on the productive population.
I work in the produce department at Albertsons. I enjoy it. It gives me a lot of sense of pride and relevance. I feel like I make a difference in the community. I certainly know I make a difference to the customers that come to the store. I plan on continuing to work until I'm physically unable to. For one, it's just for my physical well-being as well as my mental health and mental well-being. And I enjoy working with others and interacting with the community.
In the year 2034, we're going to have a 79% increase of people over 80, yet only a 1% increase in caregivers. How can we rectify that situation?
Well, as of now, we're forming a union, which is for livable wages and benefits and health insurance. And once we get the wages to $15 an hour, then we know that we can do what we need to do. And our clients will be so pleased with us.
We'll be putting in 3 different sizes in this bathroom. A 24-inch to replace the towel rack, an 18 on the back wall, and a 32 on the side wall. This way it gives the patient a place of contact when they're getting in and out. As you can see now, we're all done. I weigh 235 pounds, and this is able to hold me. I'm standing on 1 foot. I'm Angus Anchetta with the Nevada Senior Services Grant Program. This is what we do.
In anticipation of the eldercare crisis, we're having more and more baby boomers aging and transitioning. How can we better prepare in the next 10 years?
So, it all depends on the funding that's going towards this silver tsunami that we've been in already for the last 10 years. And Nevada, I'll tell you, the southwest part of the country is seeing the biggest increase in senior population. This is where people come to retire. So unfortunately, it's our state legislative sessions that determine the money that goes towards our programs. So this last legislative session that we had in Nevada, we lost money going to aging and disability and Clark County Social Services. But for example, our director, our president and CEO, Jeff Klein, is involved in numerous state, local, and national committees fighting and advocating for monies in Nevada for seniors. So that's when it's really important for groups like Nevadans for the Common Good to come before the legislature and fight for dollars for seniors. So this last legislative session, the state of Nevada, Aging and Disability, lost a huge chunk of money that went towards education and other programs. So it's really important for those to be part of the grassroots lobby days and lobby before the legislature to bring stories of seniors that are impacted, that need that support and that help. So it's a grassroots effort, and those who speak the loudest seem to get the piece of the pie.
From a sociological perspective, the power and privilege lie in institutional and systemic barriers. Systemic barriers are policies, practices, and procedures that result in some people receiving unequal access.
Top 4 issues facing seniors in the next 10 years is affordable housing, health insurance, transportation, and safety. Would you like to talk a little bit on each of those?
A lot of people don't have good insurance, and it has to do with their jobs and how politicians keep changing the rules on things too. That's one. Transportation, it is not that great for senior citizens. If they have to be picked up somewhere and they have a doctor's appointment, they have to go along the route that the bus says, so they might be there 2 hours sitting in the doctor's office waiting.
You're talking about paratransit.
Yes, that's not good for people.
Do you think that people will be using Uber and Lyft more?
No, Uber costs money.
Oh.
They don't have that. People when they're older don't have that kind of things. I moved out here because of family, so I've got family support. But a lot of people that don't, they're on their own, and they just don't know what to do.
Every 65 seconds, someone in the United States develops Alzheimer's disease. Women are twice as likely as men to develop it. Alzheimer's disease is the 6th leading cause of death in the United States, and 50% of primary care physicians believe the medical profession is not ready for the growing number of people with Alzheimer's or other dementias. Regarding memory care, there's the growing number of people with Alzheimer's and dementia. How does the Senior Center staff stay up to date with best practices on how to help those people?
Yeah, and we know we're going from 5 million people with dementia. By mid-century, it's going to more than double. That's over 15 million people in this country with memory loss, and we know it's expensive to treat. And it takes a toll on the caregivers. So we have to look at what we're going to do for our caregivers too. So our staff are trained. They come on and they have to take different workshops that are like a week in length. And one of them is called Caring for You, Caring for Me. And there's a REST program. It's called Respite Education and Support Tools. So they participate in that, and they also participate in monthly in-service trainings that cover all areas of caring for our population here at the Adult Daycare Center. So ongoing education and support.
Elder abuse is a pattern within a pattern. The larger pattern has to do with power. Abuse of all kinds most likely occurs when one person has control over another person's fate. To see a pattern is not to know why it exists. We must dig deeper to find out why things happen as they do. And so during this pandemic, it's been a perfect storm for elder abuse. Isolation, the combination of families, job loss, opiate addiction. Is there a way that the senior center has in determining whether elder abuse is taking place?
Oh yeah, we've seen the numbers go up even with domestic violence, and this is very stressful times. If we suspect it, we call Adult Protective Services and make a report. But then we also want them to come through our geriatric assessment program so we can assess them and connect them to programs to where they have that social outlet. And there's senior companion programs, people that will check in on them, and that goes to show that socialization is such a key to healthy aging and keeping people connected. So there's a lot of programs in Las Vegas that do that.
People do better when they're at home, especially when they have a companionship with a caregiver. That's what we're for, because we know what loneliness is for a senior citizen or a caregiver be there for them. So it helps them be familiar because they're in their own comfort zone. So we'll be there to help them with companionship, personal care, anything, shopping. We'll be.
Sometimes transportation is a problem. Would you be willing to take them to doctor appointments?
Sure, because they have no other way at times. And if they don't have family, then we'll be the family to take them to their appointments and even into the grocery store when they need to go for food and anything they need to do, or we'll go for them. It doesn't matter because we're there to help them.
According to the Sociologically Examined Life, Michael Schwab reminds us that being sociologically mindful of the constructiveness of the social world is seeing the possibility of changing it. This means recognizing the possibility of acting differently, of choosing not to support arrangements that are harmful or unjust. My final question is about the term ageism. It means discrimination or prejudice against people because of their age. This discrimination is leading our older people to be undervalued and vulnerable. Is there a way that we can reframe aging and create elderly spaces to challenge the current trend of less inclusive language?
Yeah, our whole mission at our center, because we have memory loss groups, is we're wanting to build relationships and validating the person and their life's journey, and let them know that they're still able to contribute to society. So we have such wonderfully rounded, wise, intellectual persons, even in the midst of their memory loss, that still have so much to contribute. Even when they develop an aphasia and they have difficulty getting the words out or speaking in sentences, we're able to validate them and know where they're coming from and have them be a part of our community. I mean, we have seniors that are volunteering, that are out in the community. Like I said, they're making those calls. They're working in all programs that give back to seniors. And I was doing some reading. We have the Nevada Veterans Peer Mentor Program, where veterans are mentoring to other veterans. We have a senior peer counseling program through the Barbara Greenspun Women's Care Center of Excellence, who does peer-on-peer counseling, somebody to talk to every week. So we need to embrace and utilize all human assets, regardless of age, throughout the life cycle, embracing policies that separate ages, that advocate for more time to understand how limited resources can serve multiple age groups. Food, shelter, clothing, health care are essential for everyone. And we have to realize we have those folks out there that don't know how to access resources. They don't have a computer that they can Google something, so they rely on the phone and the phone book. And how do we get the word out so they have somewhere to turn to? The older person should be a symbol of strength and treasured, and that they have wisdom and experience. Let's remove the label senior citizen and honor older people, because they are the primary architects and protectors of our great society. And so that's how we view people here at the center is they have so much to give, and we just got to give them the platform to do that. So, ageism has always existed, but I'll tell you, Nevada is doing great things to recognize people